Welcome back to Project 82, the SCP Remote Access Database. Which case file do you require?
Item number SCP-310. Object class Safe. When not used in experimentation, SCP-310 is to be kept in a 0.3 meter by 0.3 meter by 0.3 meter sealed vacuum case composed of flame retardant material. The research chamber surrounding the vacuum case shall be similarly flame retardant and be kept saturated with carbon dioxide, nitrogen, or other fire extinguishing agent when testing is not taking place. Standard Foundation protocols to prevent unauthorized access should be kept in place. No flammable or semi-flammable substances are permitted within the research chamber, except small quantities for research purposes. Authorization is required for testing on live or otherwise self-propelling test subjects. Chamber is to be kept sealed during testing and emergency vacuum system is to remain active. All personnel are forbidden to wear loose clothing when in chamber. Long hair must be kept tied up. Flame retardant suits are recommended. Memo 310-AA. For the last time, loose clothing includes ties. Regardless of the normal dress code encouraged on site, we want to avoid any more cases like Dr. No item should be worn that might allow accidental contact with SCP-310. Dr. John Drake. Any object which contacts SCP-310 is to remain in the chamber until fully consumed. Any item or clothing contacting SCP-310 is to be removed as expeditiously as possible while preventing further contact. Any limb or extremity contacting SCP-310 is to be removed immediately. Surgical tools including bone saws are to be kept on hand for this eventuality, as well as bolt cutters and power saws in case time factors prevent a more controlled amputation from being performed. Any Class D personnel contacting SCP-310 are to be immediately terminated. Not you, you're fine. If exposure of SCP-310 to Class D personnel is part of a test procedure, it is recommended that the test subject is restrained prior to exposure to prevent further accidental contact. Shh, it's fine. The research chamber is to remain sealed until all objects exposed to SCP-310 are fully consumed. Therefore, it is recommended to limit size of test subjects to prevent lengthy lockdowns of research chamber. SCP-310 is a 157mm tall white candle composed of apparently standard tallow. SCP-310 is an unmarked 33mm diameter cylinder with tapered tip, out of which emerges 7mm of wick. When not immersed in an oxygen-free medium, the wick produces a steady 24mm tall flame. This flame can be extinguished through most conventional means: removal of oxygen, immersion in non-flammable fluid, application of sudden intense airflow. However, on the removal of the inhibiting factor, the flame immediately reappears, behaving much like a standard trick candle. Only a small amount of tallow is liquefied at the base of the wick and is not consumed by the flame. Even during the longest duration removed from containment, days from to as a result of the events of at no time during those weeks was the tallow level nor the overall height of SCP-310 observed to decrease. Other than its interaction with the flame of SCP-310, the tallow itself is not unusual in any respect. Tallow removed from SCP-310 is designated SCP-310-01 and is classified safe. It is easily cut and malleable as would be expected. It also melts and burns as normal when exposed to ordinary flame. Any tallow removed from SCP-310 is slowly replaced by unknown means. If SCP-310 was cut short, tallow will grow from the lit section until the original 157mm height and unblemished appearance is restored. In one experiment, SCP-310 was placed in a heat chamber melting the entire volume of tallow so only the wick remained. The flame remained lit even without fuel and gradually exuded yellow tallow until its original state was restored. Any flammable or semi-flammable substance which comes into contact with SCP-310 becomes ignited with a slow spreading fire. Unlike the flame of SCP-310, this fire cannot be extinguished by any known means other than exhausting its fuel supply. Experiments have shown that the fire will continue to burn even in a vacuum, underwater, in a nitrogen-saturated environment, under intense airflow, in a refrigerated environment, encased in a fire retardant covering, or any combination of the above. Only total consumption of all flammable material in contact with the flames will result in them becoming extinguished. Any objects ignited by SCP-310 are designated SCP-310-02 and are classified Euclid until fully consumed, whereupon they revert to safe classification. Therefore, in the case of accidental ignition, especially of personnel, separating the lit section from the rest of the object as soon as possible is the only way to preserve the rest of the exposed object. SCP-310-02 objects are also capable of spreading to other flammable or semi-flammable objects, resulting in further SCP-310-02 type objects. The implications of such possibility for chain reaction are worrisome. Tests have shown that bodily contact with SCP-310 is similar to normal immolation, that is, highly painful and damaging. Damage is somewhat more extensive than that of normal flames, probably due to inability to extinguish and the unusually slow rate of spread of SCP-310-02. No unusual psychic or mimetic properties have been observed. The means by which SCP-310-02 objects are able to continue burning despite all efforts to extinguish is unknown. It is also unknown why SCP-310 itself is so easy to extinguish, albeit temporarily. Recovery. SCP-310 was recovered from the charred remains of a hamlet outside of United Kingdom. The isolated nature of the site is probably responsible for the containment of the resulting blaze, which firefighters had battled unsuccessfully for 8 hours before abandoning the buildings to the flames. In the subsequent investigation, 7 people expired, either through contact with SCP-310 or cross-contact with earlier victims. The event drew Foundation attention, and SCP-310 was recovered without incident due to precautions taken by Agent based on existing evidence. A further investigation of the site revealed that it was being used as a The involvement of that organization may go some way to explaining why SCP-310 was located where it was, what it had been used for, and how it started the blaze that led to its recovery by the Foundation. However, the question of SCP-310's origin is still open.
Case file ends. Which case file do you require?
Item number SCP-315. Object class Safe. Object does not require any special storage arrangements. However, it is currently kept in an opaque cardboard box, away from strong light or heat sources, under the assumption that this will slow the natural decay of any stored data on the object. Object consists of a set of 95 standard 8.5 GB recordable DVD format discs, arranged in a stack on a black plastic spindle. Examination of the label side of each disc reveals no manufacturer's name. Printed into each matte label is the title POC 1 of 1. Beneath this, each disc carries a unique symbol or glyph. No 2 discs carry the same symbol. On examination of the data side of the disc, it can be seen that each disc has already been fully written with data. Placing the disc into a computer or DVD player reveals that it is a standard encoded video disc. Playing the disc results in one of 2 effects, depending on whether it is a previously watched disc or an unwatched one. If an unwatched disc is placed in a DVD player, the video begins. The scene displayed is a well-furnished living room with a chair in the center. Sitting in the chair is a Caucasian male, SCP-315-1, appearing to be around 40 years old. SCP-315-1 will then demonstrate the ability to react to and converse with anyone watching the video feed. SCP-315-1 will respond to any questions put to him, appears to be able to see the environment outside of the video screen, and appears to enjoy discussions and debates with viewers. If a disk that has already been viewed is viewed again, the disk will simply repeat the footage that was seen the first time. SCP-315-1 will not react to viewers' actions, nor deviate at all from the previous viewing. A disk, once played, always contains the same footage, regardless of who is watching it. The only way to communicate with SCP-315-1 is to insert a disk that has never been watched. Given that there are 95 disks, each containing 3 hours of video, it follows that SCP-315-1 has an effective lifespan of 285 hours, or 11.8 days, not including footage that has already been watched. It should also be noted that SCP-315 is not the complete set of disks. 5 others are known to exist. It is known that all missing disks have already been fully viewed. SCP-315-1 is cognizant of the nature of his own existence. When questioned, he is aware that he is being displayed on a television screen or monitor, and can reliably identify the type, size, and color of the device on which he is shown. When directly asked about his specific nature, however, SCP-315-1 will not give a straight answer, preferring to draw the viewer into a discussion or debate. It is not clear whether SCP-315-1 is withholding information about his origin, or whether he is uncertain himself. He claims the former, stating that to tell us everything would spoil the game. He neither demonstrates nor admits to any unhappiness with his situation, nor his short lifespan. SCP-315-1 retains memory between disks. If one viewer interacts with an unwatched disk, then switches to another disk, SCP-315-1 will recognize the viewer and refer to a previous conversation. SCP-315-1 has even shown signs of developing a rapport and a friendship with those researchers who have spent a lot of time talking to him. Document 315-A, a collection of relevant excerpts from interviews with SCP-315-1, recommended reading for familiarization with this subject. Addendum 315-01. Experimented to see how SCP-315-1 responds to basic video playback functions. Pause. Entire scene paused, including SCP-315-1. When resumed, SCP-315-1 was able to tell that he had been paused. SCP-315-1 then demonstrated the ability to respond, when resumed, to questions that had been asked during the pause. Rewind. Entire scene rewound, including SCP-315-1. When resumed, DVD played back SCP-315-1's side of previous discussion. SCP-315-1 did not respond to questioning until the video had once again reached the furthest watched point. He then resumed normal conversation and requested not to be rewound again. Fast forward. Whole scene fast forwarded, including SCP-315-1, who sat still during sped up play. SCP-315-1 picked up conversation immediately afterward and requested not to be fast forwarded again. Slow forward. SCP-315-1 was able to react to conversation during slow play, but was slowed down himself. When normal playback had resumed, he identified that he had been in slow motion, but noted that it had made no perceivable difference to him. Addendum 315-02. Attempted to copy one of the unwatched DVDs. Was unsuccessful. This contains some form of copy protection that nobody seems to be able to break. SCP-315-1 showed awareness of this attempt when next consulted, and made reference to cheating. Addendum 315-03. SCP-315-1 made reference to disks possibly being pre-recorded. To attempt to disprove, played a disk out of sequence, i.e., played a disk from the middle of the pile rather than the top to bottom order previously used. No apparent effect. SCP-315-1 was still able to tell the current real-world time, conversed normally, complimented researcher on guile. Addendum 315-04. Further attempted to prove or disprove pre-recorded theory. A pseudo-random number generator was used. Displayed number to television screen. SCP-315-1 was able to read out the number. If video is pre-recorded, the algorithm used for event prediction is almost impossibly accurate. Seems far more likely that effect is due to some paranormal phenomenon in the disks themselves, although further suggestions to try and prove either hypothesis are encouraged. Dr. Note: I don't like this conclusion at all. Without the ability to copy the disk, though, I can think of no way to prove either one hypothesis or the other. There are more important things to worry about at the Foundation, but this one keeps tugging at the back of my brain. Addendum 315-05. 2 DVD players set up in separate areas. 1 randomly selected unwatched DVD placed in each player. Both discs played simultaneously to 2 separate researchers. Each instance of SCP-315-1 engaged in a separate conversation with each researcher. Both instances also showed awareness of the other conversation and were able to transfer a message from one researcher to another. Addendum 315-06. 2 DVD players set up in the same room played to 2 researchers sitting side by side. Dual instances of SCP-315 able to communicate with both researchers and with each other, creating a 4-way conversation. When asked whether they were 2 separate entities or one entity controlling both instances, the SCP-315-1s were either unable or unwilling to give an answer. Dr. Note: This is driving me up the damn wall. I'm taking myself off this project for the moment. No psych evaluation required. I'm just getting stressed out trying to figure out how the damn disks work. Addendum 315-07. Experiment undertaken to disprove the hypothesis that disks are manufactured in the future based on SCP conversation records. An unwatched disk was placed in the player, watched by Dr. and logged by researcher. Researcher was asked to periodically record conversations incorrectly, logging fabricated questions and answers for both Dr. and SCP-315-1. All accurate records of the conversation, including the disk itself, were subsequently expunged, and experiment participants induced to forget which parts of the record were fabricated. Inaccurate reports filed away as normal. Results: SCP-315-1 continued a normal conversation with subject, giving no fabricated answers or statements inappropriate to actual conversation. Dr. Note: Couldn't stay away, but I at least have a decent reason for coming back. This proves that the disks are not scripted conversations of future origin derived from our records. It's not a huge breakthrough, but God, am I glad to finally have disproved something.
Thank you for your participation in Project 82, transmitting psioanalytic data to Dr.